Here we go, Wednesday morning. How is everybody? I know the streets were piping hot this week. Between the time I got off live until I was taking notes at 3 in the morning. So I apologize that I was a little late. Joey, you requested the box. I'm not sure why. You want to tell me? Well, welcome, everybody, to Wednesday morning, the 22nd. I hope everybody had a great Monday afternoon and a fantastic Tuesday. I did. Yep, she was wild last night. But Detroit Nike was worse. The only reason why he's not up here is because I had already done all that I was going to do for today, but he'll be there for Friday. Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. I got hit with a restriction right away, but I don't really care. You guys just tap, 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 tap. I don't understand how I'm getting a restriction when other people are doing it exactly how I'm doing. Well, you know what? I know what I got to do in the future. I know what I have to do. Anyway, yeah, he was smoking trees and drinking alcohol. So just as proof, because that was him last night. Or at 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, that's what he was doing and was losing it. But he's not on today's roster, so let's stay focused. So please, if are you a member of the team, please hit the daily heart me. Thank you, thank you. If not, stick around, and if you enjoy what you see, hit the daily heart me and join the team. Oh, Joey, he's there every day, multiple times a day. Also, I ask that as I change photos that you like the live. Obviously, we're going to need to tap past this little restriction we have. Um but it doesn't matter. People know we're here. So TikTok, have at it. Do what it is that you do. Okay? But it's also to make sure we don't get the live taken down because people don't like what we have to say. But what do they say? This is America. This is my platform and my mouth. And so I'm allowed to say whatever I want, as long as it's within legal bounds. So that's what I ask. Daily heart me and to tap the screen whenever I change the photo. Now, I want you to tap until you see the heart. Keep tapping until you see the heart's tail. And then take a break. Take a break. So I needed coffee today. So I ask that you bear with me. So today is going to be Skylin, Pookie, Medina, Caitlin, a bolo named Reese that you might not be familiar with, Becky, Stud Soldier, Timothy Nash, and boy, oh boy, did Faye She's standing 10 toes down in her beliefs. Let's just say it that way. So, who are we going to start? Kira, I may have to end a little bit early today, but bear with me, okay? We're going to get it done. Oh, this is just a little special that I wanted to add. So, some of you may know Renee. She got called out for begging on TikTok for everything under the sun. She's an older woman, clearly lonely. She says she moved to Florida. She hates it, but she has a couple of friends and a grandson she's very close to. He's cute. His name is David. He's an adult. Anyway, Renee went live and Julie here, Boo Bear, is her moderator. And I just happened to be scrolling through. I watch Renee every once in a while to see if she's going to dip her toe back into begging. And she did a little dry begging yesterday by talking about her car and how she needs parts. But what's funny is she sounded like she could afford the part, but not the mechanic to put it in. But then was like, I'm going to sell it and buy a new car. Make that make sense. But anyway, when she came on, she jumped up. As soon as she came on last night, her people immediately started explaining their displeasure with somebody. And it took me a minute to get them to tell me who it was. But it was Angel Girly Boo Bear. She was in the live asking people for money in Renee's live. And Renee wasn't happy with it, and neither was her chat. But as soon as Boo Bear got into the live, they stopped speaking about it. Ma'am, how you gonna talk trash and not confront her when she got in there? Not tell her, do not beg again in my chat. But see, her chat, Boo Bear's ability to go live got taken away. Thank you, Sparkles. So she can't go live on her own. All she can do is post. So what other place is she going to do it? But damn, have some coos. At least ask permission first. My goodness. Yeah, sanitary products. But I got to remember, just because she looks old doesn't mean that she is old. She's a mess. She's a mess. But she likes to pick and choose who's a beggar scammer and who isn't. When y'all are all doing the exact same thing. Yeah, she had a falling out with Pookie. And her and Pookie are... Kira, why? You're usually asleep now, but now you want it. She keeps bringing me the ball that she wants me to throw so she can chase it around the house, and then she brings it back. Austin was live last night promoting a book that he wrote on socialism. I literally typed, "What do you know about socialism?" and I erased it before I sent it. Like, what? Austin is writing a book about what? Sir. I would never. You said Julie is 53, begging for sanity, went through menopause. Hilarious. Damn. Sir, Austin. Austin needs to let somebody else promote the book. Hey, I wrote the book. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay. That was a little side special I thought I'd share because I know a lot of people don't watch Renee. And I just found that incredibly rich. That you would be a mod for somebody and then go into her live and beg. Little bit, who knows? Okay, I saw somebody say Skylin. She is moving up the rankings very quickly because I find that her level of manipulation is becoming top tier. So I told you guys, was it Monday or Wednesday? Hold on. It must have been last Wednesday that she was up 6 hours before checkout time outside of the hotel with her dogs while it was raining under an awning asking for money for a hotel room. And that is top tier manipulation to make people think that you're actually outside in the rain and you need a hotel room, but not bright enough to not go into the hotel room while you're live and use the bathroom. And so then it makes me think you don't actually care. You don't actually care. You just want people who come in to feel sorry for you. And it's almost like you're playing in their face. Like, I'm going to tell you I need a hotel room while I have a hotel room in 6 hours. But there were people in her chat not letting her get away with it. And of course, I was one of them. Because one of the things that disturbs me about her manipulation is that she talks about how her boyfriend took her to visit his family, told her they were going to be a family, drove her to her hometown, and then left her there. And she says it like it happened a week ago. Ma'am, it's been over a year. And you are in exactly the same position you were in when he left you with 2 dogs. But you come on here and you pretend like, oh my goodness, look at what happened to me. Right, she's a resident now. And so I don't like that level of manipulation. So the other night, she was in Five Below walking around and picking up items and showing them to the chat, like, I need this and I need this and I need this. Again, manipulation. Let me walk around the store while I'm live. Mind you, that particular store doesn't allow dogs. And so she had to drop the dogs off to a woman who keeps the dogs. So that means that if you go get a job, you have somewhere for the dogs to go. Ashley, because you don't choose to have those problems. What they're doing is a choice. They are comfortable living on the edge as long as somebody else is paying for it. Imagine your hotel rooms get paid for. They send you money for food, they send you money for the dogs. What more do you need? Oh, your cell phone bill? Good morning, everybody coming in. And Ashley, I appreciate your husband for doing so. This isn't about somebody falling on hard times. This is about somebody who had a situation and is choosing to stay there. You know what I always say? Everybody has peaks and valleys, but there are three parts to a valley: what you did to get there, what happened to get you there, and then the third part is what are you doing to get out? And when that part of the valley is missing, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. Snuggle lump, because I realize that when people tap, they're tapping a request. Anybody who wants a box, please put it in the chat. However, I've gotten the message that I'm letting people run on for too long and interrupt the chat. So please, if it is not specifically relevant to what we are talking about in this moment, save it. I'll try to leave some time on the end. By the way, does anybody remember the young lady who came up on Monday talking about J. Paul? Because if she comes in here, what was her name? Rebecca, Becky, something like that? I can't even remember. Y'all, if she comes in, let me know. Let me know. Thank you, Miss Coffee. So, what was Skylin doing yesterday? She was in a store. What is it? Famous Footwear, I think she said. And she's sitting down. She has the dogs with her inside of the store. And she's boot shopping. Okay, it's about to be wintertime. I get it. It's already getting cold. Let me see, did I catch the photo? Hold on. I didn't catch the photo. Well, I might have caught it on my other phone, so I can't show it on this one. But she was dressed like it was summertime in Utah. And I literally there were several men in there, and they of course were taking up for her, and I was like, are you doing this because you're paying attention to what she has on or lack thereof? But she's in there buying winter boots dressed like it's the middle of summer. You don't want me to believe that that's manipulation? That is trying to get money from men? And she's an attractive girl, so she benefits from pretty privilege. Pookie isn't going to get the same amount of money as Skylin, and she's certainly not going to get it from the same people. That's just the way the world works. But she's sitting there and she's trying on boots and she's showing everybody the boots. And then she says, these are 60, but the ones I want are 120. Bitch, excuse me? And she proceeds to say that someone sent her the money for the boots, but she doesn't have enough. Why do you need $120 boots? For what? When we all know that you could get a similar type of boot that doesn't cost that much. She even showed the boot that she was trying on and was explaining the difference. Girl, put on a couple of extra pairs of socks if it's not as fluffy on the inside. But $120? And there were men and women all like for this. And I said to her, I was like, why are you doing this like you got kicked out a week ago? You've been doing this for a year. Her comments slowed down. Because I think a lot of people thought because she's brand new to them, that she's brand new to this. She is not. Rita, this is a want, not a need. Oh, thank you, Granny Annie. That's so cute. My man starts having the shakes when he can't go to work. I can't tell you how hard it was for him when he broke his ankle and his what did he broke his ankle and his heel bone. And it was funny because I never even thought about a heel bone until he broke it. He struggled to not be able to go to work. And then you have people like her. Right, my man, clock it. I'm kidding. I don't act like that. But it irks my nerves. So she said somebody sent it to her because she needed it. You are dressed like it is summertime, trying to buy boots for a bad winter. The optics aren't good, my dear. And then someone said to her, I put you on Reddit. And she was like, why'd you put me on Reddit? Girl, because you are a beggar, scammer, liar, manipulator. That's why. Welcome to Reddit. And then, of course, she posted her her CA, and people were like, thanks, I just reported it. So when the people who were unhappy with her behavior became louder than the people who were supporting her, she then said, I'm going to end because of the clowns in here. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, thank you. If I missed any gift, thank you. You know that they are appreciated, but they are not required. So, we're clowns? We're clowns because we find your behavior to be abhorrent, to be manipulative. Really? That's a new one on me. You're the clown, my dear. And so, as long as you are going to take advantage of kindness from people who actually think they're helping you level up, while you intend to be right in this position next year, you're the clown. And there will always be a spot on the grid for you. Always. Oh, Farah. I feel like I'm. Oh, Farah, thank you. Are you filling my gift gallery? Don't send anything unless you're filling my gift gallery, of course. She ain't even on the list today, but she's still getting a side eye. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Who just went live? Sheena or Skylin? Oh, thank you, Schindler. Who went live? Skylin or Sheena? Sky, of course. Now, my question is this. It is 7 in the morning East Coast. She's in Utah, which is what, 5 a.m.? Why are you already up begging for money? No, we're not talking about Sheena today. Right. Asking for money for a hotel room that she's already in. Well, this is what's going to happen. And it eventually happens to everybody. Eventually, people get tired and they start falling off, and you start having a harder and harder time. And then in that moment, miraculously, you are able to figure out life. I do not know. Oh, Heidi, I appreciate you being here. Listen, in this particular economy, I think everybody is struggling except for the uber rich. And even they are seeing their wealth decline, especially in America. Because whether you agree with the policies or not, they are creating instability in our economy. So you used to be able to grocery shop, and we used to think $200 a week was a lot. People are paying double that. And now that they plan on taking food stamps away, now take it away from somebody like Maggie. She's eating DoorDash anyway every day that people are paying for. Make Quay go get a job, but she won't have to because she has all of those children. Make Zim's man go get a job. Make Zim go get a job. But no, it'll be the person who has no support, has kids, getting divorced, and she'll get hers taken away. Thank you, thank you. So, Skylin, the grid will always be open to you, and I will be watching. And for anybody who may not know, I put their name and their in the center of the screen so that you can take a screenshot, write it down, whatever you need to. So you could go watch them yourselves. Because I always say, you don't have to believe me. I'm okay with that. Go watch for yourself and then think about what I said and see if what I said makes sense with what you're watching yourself. So that will always be there for everyone. So Caitlin had a new one, and she is what I mean by she'll get services and assistance that she's not even utilizing, but the people in her chat are telling her to keep it. So let's talk about it. I believe it was last year Caitlin had a baby. Good morning, MLA Red. Oh yes, the photo has changed. Please tap 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 until you feel the heart's tail. Wait, what are they doing? Florida, what's going on? Is there something you'd like to say to me? Okay, well, tell me what your question was. Because they can't pin it so that I can see it. I'm in a gingerbread man filter because who I am doesn't matter. Who I am doesn't matter. And the moment people find out who you are, they start investigating you. Then they make it about you, what you look like, who you are, where you work, where you live. And I never wanted to become about me. So I was always behind the screen. And then people like to dox people, let's be honest. So I also want to protect my peace. But TikTok has a new rule about static photos. So I'm in the live as a gingerbread man to avoid that restriction. But otherwise, in the last year that I've been doing this, almost a year, we're almost at the anniversary, y'all. I have never shown my face because I never felt the need to. A couple of people have requested the box. Please, if you're requesting the box, type it in the chat so that I know. It's okay, Jamie. Whoever it is wanted to come in and have something to say. And so it's better that I go ahead and address it and then move on than have them constantly questioning it in the comments. So I've answered it. Y'all don't have to go back and forth with that person at all. Wait, what did they say? It's okay, Mary Ellen. You came in at the right time. Well, Florida, I hope I answered your question. That's the only answer you're going to get. You're not going to get the answer from my chat. So I hope that satisfied your I hope that satisfied your question. Thank you. Let the mods do what they do. Y'all don't need to go back and forth. I tell y'all. Y'all don't have to go back and forth. Florida, you know, the fastest way to get people to stop talking to you is to stop talking. Well, thank you, Sherry. Y'all know what to do. Thank you, MLA. So, Caitlyn, like I said, about a year ago had a baby. Clearly, she wasn't taking care of the baby. The state took the baby, and she met a man on, I don't know if it was a dating site, social media, TikTok, whatever. And she packed up what she needed and she went to him. She has been there for months. And we all know how I feel, how you all know how I feel about her behavior since she's been out there. But she has court coming up because the state or the housing authority is trying to evict her. And she's upset about it. Ma'am, you haven't stepped foot in the apartment in months. You no longer have your daughter. But my problem is with the chat because, chat, she should be able to keep a housing apartment that she's not in. Do you forget that there is probably a mother or a father with a child that can use that apartment that she is not using? And y'all are like, yeah, hurry up and get back. They can't evict you like that. They got to take you to court and blah, blah, blah. Why are you encouraging this behavior? And it's what I don't understand about people who are supporters. I understand you want to support the person, but I say this all the time. Real friends are honest. Real friends can tell you, like, I hear you, but maybe you should think about it this way. No, they're all like, they can't do that to you, and that's right, get back there and keep your. For what? She doesn't want to live there. She wants to be where she is. Let somebody else get the apartment. And then she tried to change it to, well, I'm just concerned about my stuff. So then why did you leave it all? And what are you going to do with it? Because the only thing you're going to be able to do is sell it, throw it away, or put it in a storage unit. And she had the nerve to say the rent was paid up. Girl, what was your rent? $20? $30? Of course it's paid up. But this is where you know that within scammers, beggars, and liars, their selfishness has no limit. She probably sat on a waiting list for I don't know how long to get the place. And now that she doesn't have her daughter, she's flittering around like she has no responsibilities, but she's upset with the state that they want the apartment because their waiting list is probably longer than 2 years. And y'all are encouraging her. So, this is what was interesting though. She was looking to get back, A, to go to court, even though court is on Zoom, and B, to, I guess, wrap up her affairs. But she first wanted to know if they could evict her. Housing authority has rules. You haven't been there in months. I'm sure that's a violation of the agreement. That's for A. Then she's like, well, I'm just going to see how far I can get and go from there. Manipulation. No, she's not. She's not that dense. She said it for y'all to be like, no, no, no. And people were like, don't do that. You're going to end up in a city that, and then what happens if you don't make. Are y'all really that? Y'all have not watched her play in your face for months? And yet, as soon as she says something, y'all are right there ready to be like, no, 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 no. Oh, no. Please. I would go do it. If you want to be that silly as an adult, go do it. Because it doesn't even make sense. Good morning, disturbed one. But then she says she has $470. She has it. And so she was like, how much would it cost in gas to go from Texas to, is it Illinois, Ohio, somewhere up there? And she's like, I'm thinking about renting a car and then driving there, but I need to know how much gas I'm going to need. Oh, Illinois. Okay, I thought so. What? You want to drive all of those hours? But does she even have a driver's license? Oh, thank you, Granny Annie. I love the train. Yeah, Google answered in 20 seconds. I appreciate you, Granny Annie. I'm not Sin Edge. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't like to say names wrong, but correct. She's like, I could get a rental car for like $150, and then I can go up there. And then do what? Proud fire wife. Did he end up linking up with the woman he was moving for? Justin? Okay. I know he was begging to get there, but I don't know how a woman stuck around. Listen, the Midwest is becoming very popular. Oh no. Well, let's see how long it lasts. Because he can talk a good game. He can talk a good game. Let's see what he does when he gets there. Right, imprinted angel. I just think, yeah, we're talking about Gummy Bear for a second. She's still married? Wow. Again, the selfishness has no bounds. Now, I'm not saying she was happy in her marriage, and if you're unhappy and it's destroying your spirit, then leave. But Sean is her karma. Let's just put it that way. They don't need to say anything else. They need to just let her go ahead and wait for her to have to come back to say, I should have listened. So, girl, I hope you enjoy it, because I can't, you will probably stay out of sheer embarrassment. But go ahead and bet on Sean. Go ahead. I promise you're going to be disappointed. Wait until he starts drinking. See if you like him then. Anyway, back to Caitlyn. So I'm not sure if she ended or if I left. But I feel like I left because I was disappointed with the grown women in her chat. Why can't any of y'all, her mods, her supporters, the people she's known for a long time, why can't any of you hold her accountable? I saw that China is back. It's about to be holiday time. What Walmart said, you could have a Thanksgiving meal with under $4 a person. They want that. And then they want to slide right into Christmas. Why you think Cody is back? Gabby is back. I'm not surprised. She can't live without TikTok. And her being back on an account only says that she's back to go live. She never actually left TikTok. Thank you for the follow. All right. So she has 470. She was asking for 40 more so that she could rent a car and drive it to Illinois because they want to evict her out of her apartment. Let's see what happens. Who's next? Let's do the bolo. So this is Reese. And I've been watching him for a little while. And Reese says he has a job. And I don't have any reason to doubt it. Well, I do, but this is his new page. And what he comes on for every day is money for a room. Now, he says that he's from DC, but he lives in Maryland now. He said he's tried everything. He's on housing lists. He's gone to churches. He's done this, that, and the third. I do not know if he has any children, but he's 27 years old. See, when you have hit your valley, sometimes you have to collaborate in order to get out of it. I can't imagine that there aren't other young men that could do a rent share of an apartment and each of them pay a portion of all of the bills and they could get out of homelessness. Now, you can't trust everybody. You have some discernment. But if you're working, why can't y'all get together and do that? Why is it always I'm going to come to TikTok and ask TikTok to temporarily fix it for me? Because that's all a hotel room is if what you make can't afford it. The amount of time that you sit on TikTok begging, you could be at a second job. Yes, he is young and able-bodied. You know what, Janky? I actually think it's going to be the reverse. Right, you're in your 20s. You might not be able to get an apartment alone by yourself. And so you do the next best thing. and you get roommates and you get together. And then as you establish yourself, you meet somebody, you decide that you're going to move out with them, and you have an established record of rent payment. Is it always going to be smooth and dandy? No. The same way it's not when you're in a relationship. Somebody's going to be upset one day, say something, do something, and you have to be mature enough to think above it. Because this is how you got out of homelessness, and if you just walk out, you're going to be right back where you were. But that's not ever what they do. It's easier to just come to TikTok and say, I'm cashing in on the fake promise I told myself, which was that people on TikTok are going to take care of me. Here's my ATM card. I'm here to withdraw. And of course, he has a GoFundMe. Of course. And I realize he may be new to y'all. Thank you for the gifts, football head. But as you can see, Reese and Hood RX Reese, you can go watch him. Right, TikTok shop doesn't sell hotel. Listen, some motels might want to consider selling on TikTok shop. He said the other day that he had to sleep outside for over a week and that he is looking for better jobs. He's working with a case manager to find housing and that he feels like everything is against him. And I can understand that, especially being young. And you never, when you're little, think that you're going to be homeless as you get older. That's never like, I'm looking forward to being homeless. Of course not. But he wants $65 for the room. So I watched him a little bit more, and it was kind of more of the same. But then yesterday, his attitude had gone up a few notches. And people were making recommendations to him, making suggestions. And he was kind of like, do y'all think I haven't done all of that? Well, how are we supposed to know, sir? How are we supposed to know what you've done, what you've tried? And one of the things that gets me with the scammers is they act like people should already know. This could be my first time in there, and I'm supposed to know everything you've done, everything you said, all that you've been through. There are millions of people on this app that as you scroll, you're going to come across. How do you know that I know? How do you know that I know? So, I don't understand why my comments get so much heat. But I said, have you thought about the military? I don't know. And he went off. How do you know somebody wants the military? The military isn't for everybody. Sir, I just asked a question. He went on about that for a good 5 minutes. And then, of course, there was a vet in there saying, I don't suggest the military for you. I'm a vet. But I bet you are using all of the vet benefits, as you should. But he's upset because that's not going to fix his problem right now. That it takes a really long time to get in the military. It's not overnight. He has to pass this and pass this, and he can't have any rugs in his system. I think he may indulge in the trees a little bit, but that's an assumption of mine. And he's like, I need a room right now. I need a room right now. Well, then, sir, go and work until you can afford it. Why is somebody asking you a question such a problem? And it's because the only conversation he wants to have is, how much do you need and where do I send it? That's not our responsibility, though. And for you to have an attitude based on one question tells me everything I need to know. All you had to say was the military isn't for me. And I even said, I was like, I was just asking a question. The military isn't for everybody. But he went on and on and on. And then got himself so frustrated and flustered that he ended up saying, I need to go charge my phone. I'll be back. Sir, what's the problem? What's the problem? People aren't allowed to comment and ask you a question while you sit on the other side of the screen and ask for money? I love how that works. And I'm going to talk about it with Pookie in a minute, but Pookie was like, I'm not here to answer questions. Bitch, where else can you get money without answering questions? You can't go to a loan shark. You can't go to a bank, a credit union, your job, and ask for money without answering some questions, making some guarantees, signing your name on the dotted line. So why do you think you get to come to TikTok and ask and have no questions? It's ridiculous. So I thought after that attitude, I'd bring him here. Y'all don't have to follow. Watch from the window. Correct, Granny Annie. They want to know how much do you need and where to send it. That's it. If you're not on that time, they don't want to talk about it. And boy, oh boy, did Detroit Nike show his ass in the middle of the night. Oh. Who's next? This is another one who likes to say, we've just fallen on hard times. Girl, you have a reason every week to need money. Every week. So it was the birthday party of her wife. And then last night she tried to indicate like there was a problem. Because somebody said to her, like, this morning you were asking for a hotel room. Now it's a car battery. And she didn't really say it. But she was like, yeah, I needed a hotel room earlier, but at this point, I just need a battery for my car because at least I can stay there. And she was like, me and my wife had a little bit of a problem, but her hotel room is all paid up, so I'm not worried about that. What did you do? And then she wanted to cry to the chat and say, she hasn't gone to work for 3 days. And even though she's been working there a long time, And so she's not worried about losing her job, but she can only take so many days off in a row. And she said that the battery for her car at most was $60. But she also needed money for food. So, one of my very first questions was, did the kids get insurance? Because remember, we had to pay for the nebulizer for one of the children because they didn't have insurance. Sorry. Charlotte, you came from Walmart. You came from Walmart. You could get it for like some $60, $70. But my question is, you said you bought a battery 2 years ago and it's already bad? Like batteries, and maybe if you are only buying the cheapest battery of the cheap, but even they last longer than 2 years. It does a little bit. I honestly believe that she comes up with something and she's like, what do we need? We need $60. Okay, what could I say we need for $60? You can't say you guys are getting kicked out of the hotel room at 9 o'clock at night. That's gone. Like that train has passed. But you and your wife got into it, and last week you were begging to buy her gifts. Like, I'm sorry. It is giving, I just want to beg because I don't have a job. And I got to come up with money every day. And so I have to have something new to ask for. I don't buy it at all. And I was like, how come there's always a reason? And she's like, the people who have been here a long time have seen me rise up and I can do it again and this, that, and the third. Yes, we could see you rise up again, but why do you need other people's money to do so? Correct, Imprinted Angel. And Walmart has a warranty as well. Annabelle, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There probably was some in the past, at the very least. But I don't know if it's active now. Because she says she's a CO in a prison. Virgo, you're assuming that her being able to pay you back came from a job. For all you know, that could have come from somebody else giving her money. I'm just saying. Don't assume because you got your money back that it came out of a paycheck. Right, Andrea. I've never seen somebody work full time as a CO. They're not messing with your money and need to beg as often as she does. Now they have a lot of kids, but like I said, some of the kids she has are her sister's kids. Your sister, and she acted like her sister's kids didn't have any benefits. Like in a lot of places, the CO jobs are the best jobs in the area. Now they pay a lot because you have to deal with a lot. So just keep watching. Because what's funny is here comes White Sox, y'all. I apologize in advance. He was outside, but he has come inside. So I'm looking at the pattern, not the one off. Correct. White Sox, they saying hello. So I had to put eye drops in his eyes. Let me show you. Wait, I'm gonna show y'all his reaction. He wouldn't even look at me. He was so bad. I was like, White Sox, White Sox, White Sox. He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't look at me. He didn't side eye me, nothing. He's like, you have betrayed me, woman. You put drops in my eyes. So I had to snap that picture and I sent it to his daddy. I was like, look at your child. He's having a tantrum. Right, big mad. Anyway, let's go back. So I say, watch the pattern. Stick around and watch the pattern. And you tell me if you don't see the same thing I see, which is a reason to need money every single week. And she might ask for the same thing over and over and over again. Like I said, she asked for money for her wife's birthday for days. Listen, I know White Sox is not playing with me. He's so paranoid now that when I give him a snack, my arm has to be all the way stretched out because he does not want me to grab him. Right. Spot for Spirit. Mind you, wait, is she on the list today? No, but I'll just tell you. So Kat was asking for money for the same $10 to get her checked. And when somebody was like, I can offer you Lyft points, she was like, why would I need that if I have a car with a full tank of gas? So then what do you need the $10 for? Because I think most people think, thank you, that the $10 is the ride. Well, I saw somebody else say that she needs the $10 to get the check. And somebody was like, who needs to pay to get their paycheck? See, in her case, she's begging for rug money all day long. Right, Arlie? She's just asking for rug money all day long. Because how is she on live 35 times a day but has a job? I don't buy it. And she is incredibly boring to watch because she's literally sitting in a closet. And I did a little research on why someone will sit in the closet. And so maybe I'll talk about that on Friday. Christina Marie, I don't think they split up, but she kept alluding to the fact that they were beefing and that she might have to stay in the car. But she didn't actually say, like, we split up. She just kind of alluded to the fact that they were having a problem. But we'll see, because, they always do that. Bo, she not just spending it on cigarettes. Believe me. Believe me on that one. Okay. Who's next? For not ending up on the FYP, we're doing pretty good. Let's do Pookie. I gotta admit that she gets on my nerves. Everybody tap, tap, tap. We've changed the photo. She's getting on my nerves. And she's on my nerves because of her attitude. And I think that is what makes me put certain people on the list on the days that I do, because to me their attitude makes, like, the ask is bad enough. The attitude while you're asking, it sends me over the edge. So wait, let me find my notes. I'll tell y'all that in a minute. So let's not forget that she came on and asked for clothes, $100. Then she created an Amazon wish list because we, in quotation marks, we asked her to create an Amazon wish list. And then she came on Monday and wanted $100 for groceries and claimed it was because her check was short. Now, there are multiple reasons why a check could be short. And maybe it's because they didn't calculate your hours correctly. But it could also be that you didn't work enough hours. So that it's not short, you just didn't work enough. And she even claimed that she was going to ask them for more hours. Okay, well, if the hours you get aren't enough, go look for a second job. You are already in the fast food industry. You have the experience. So, listen, Crystal, I question it because she is home a lot. And does she or does she not get SSI? I know she has housing assistance. And I believe she gets food stamps. And so this is why I call BS. Because she was asking for $100 and somebody sent her $5. So she only needed $95 for groceries, right? If anybody can help out. And she's like, this is my PP. Anything helps, that is red flag number 3. When they say anything helps, understand that they should be on the grid. And then people were tapping and sending her heart me's. What entertainment do you gain from her asking for $95 over and over and over again? She's literally like, if you could help, I need $95 to my PP. Anything will help. I need it for food. Anything can help. Thank you for the taps and the likes. If anybody can help, I need $95 so that I can get groceries. Like, what is there to tap and daily heart me? Right, Jamie? Her only content is begging for money and needing something new every day. She doesn't talk about anything else. Like, there's no, like, this was my day. Let me give you a story about how I grew up. The only time she had a story to tell was when she felt like she was getting bullied on the app and that people threatened to come to her door. And she's like, my landlord knows. My neighbor upstairs knows somebody's giving me a dog. And I'm like, why would you get a dog and you can't feed yourself? Her entire platform is send me money. And then, of course, she had somebody in there talking about there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Then you send her the money. Yeah, Chell, she changed that. She made an Amazon wish list. And she's like, that's right. It doesn't hurt to ask for help. Really, Pookie? Mind you, the scammers are at it between her and Boo Bear going back and forth. Why? Because y'all are asking the same 10 people for money? And then she said, I only need 95 more. Only? If it was only, baby, go out and get it. But then, and this is how you know that it's truly BS. She came back on in the evening and wanted $24 so she could get food from the Dollar Tree. So when the 95 didn't work out, she changed it to the Dollar Tree. Well, if you could have gone to the Dollar Tree to get enough food, why didn't you start there? And that's how you know the whole thing is BS. It is literally about getting money out of people so I can go do what I want. And to me, that's taking advantage of people's kindness. And so people were like, well, what are you going to get with $24? And she was like, oh, she's like, even if I only get $20, she's like, $20, oh my God, come on now. What? You do realize, and when I say you, I mean the scammers, that people may have $20 laying around, but eventually they'll find use for that $20. Whether it's to put gas in the car or somebody's birthday comes up and they just want to buy a little something. If the Uber wealthy aren't sending you money, it's not a bunch of extra money. Yeah, she's real quick. And so I started asking questions and she blocked me. And I went back in and I said, blocking me is symbolic. I'll always be here. Yep, she was on both accounts begging. Somebody else used to do that. They had two phones up and they would look back and forth at the phones. Oh, yeah. I mean, who am I? Lie to me, it don't matter. But as long as you're doing what you're doing, good morning. Welcome to the grid, baby. The grid is always open, always ready to add you back. You can come off, but you can always come back. And so when she was like, come on now, I was like, come on, where, man? No one owes you anything. She said she was going to buy bread and peanut butter and stuff to eat. Come on. Come on now. She just needs $20 to get food from the Dollar Tree. Come on now. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Kira has the zoomies. It's going to be a wild day, y'all. I can already tell. Listen, she thinks that this is a game. It's a game that she's trying to win. She doesn't care about a single person who sends her money. She doesn't need it like I'm getting ready to get evicted. She just wants it. She just wants it. She's watched other people get money on here. And by the way, hold on. I got a photo because this young lady here, West Indie Mommy, she said that she was able to get somebody to send her $3,000 to pay her rent and avoid her eviction. By the way, this isn't an AI generated photo. I didn't do anything like in particular. Her live got stuck and I just snapped the picture. So now, let me explain a couple of things. A, she is pregnant. B, it wasn't the baby daddy, according to her. 3, she's an OF lady. She's in the industry. So when she says one of my biggest supporters, it's probably somebody off of OF. Right, Cindy? She used what she had to get what she wanted. Shout out to Players Club. So she didn't just get it that way. She didn't just get it by begging on TikTok. But she was proud to make the video that she got it. Yep, somebody paid her $3,000. Now, if you were able to get money like that, why were you on TikTok begging? That wasn't a TikTok fan. He might watch her on TikTok because it's free. But that's somebody who is expecting something on the other side or is getting something on the other side. I have one other update. No, her baby daddy left her. Her new baby daddy left her. She got mad about a woman texting him, "Hey, he's a motivational speaker," according to her. And she threw him out. And what it's telling is that he kept going. He didn't turn back. He didn't say, "I want my family back." He kept going. Right, Miss Coffee. Oh, that's not a good one. Hold on. You guys remember her? Let me see if I have one without comments. Y'all remember Tatted Faye? She is back. Her new name is KITSUNE. I'll say that again so you guys can write it down. It is K as in knickknack, I, T as in Tom, S as in Susan, U, N as in Nancy, E. And so she decided, she's not on the board, but I figured I'd share it. She's decided, correct, thank you. She's decided that because she was being mistreated at work, of course, she was being sexually, not assaulted, what's the word? She was getting approached in that way, or her coworkers were making jokes, and management wasn't doing anything about it. And that she would be taught one thing, but then when she did it, she was mistreated. Whatever the case may be, the job, of course, didn't work out. And so now TikTok is her job. I believe she gets visitation, but she doesn't have them full time. Harassed. Thank you. Yes, that was the word I couldn't think of in the moment. So now TikTok is her job. And she's going to come online every day and build a new family of TikTok fans, and she's going to post videos and everything. And so she's like, I've been doing this for 5 years. Why not make TikTok my job? Well, my dear, TikTok is your job when TikTok starts paying you. Until then, it's a hobby. And people are so happy that they found her. What I'm trying to understand is, did her medication get adjusted? Because the difference in tone and character is amazing. It's literally like looking at a brand new person. But I put it up there because, I'm waiting. But I thought I would share that bit of information. She's back. Of course she's crying. That's what I mean. Of course she's crying. Anyway, back to the grid. Hold on. I just need to check one thing. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. So there you go. One more person to add to the list. All right. Let's stay focused. I don't know why I keep getting distracted, but I just have so much information I want to share. I'm not going to talk long about him. But he's right when he says, welcome to the shit show. That was Tatted Faye. She's a beggar manipulator storyteller on this app. She went away for a while. She seemed to have gotten herself together. She started having visitation with her kids, and then she just went away. And now she's come back under a new name, new account, I believe. And sometimes my algorithm is working beautifully. All right. So he was welcoming us to the shit show with a new episode. Now, he claims that his arrest back in March was that they found rugs in the car he was in, but determined that they weren't his. That is not what I recall from the arrest report. Am I wrong that they found it on him? Because I don't remember a car being mentioned that that's where they found them. Right. That's what I remember. But we know that Tim likes to adjust his stories to fit his narrative. And I'm sorry, Nikki. Now that Miss May has backed away, you are back front and center. You live all the way in Canada, you grown woman that is helping a man continuing to get rugs every day. You're deplorable. And she will definitely get called out. There's also an Athena 420. And I know a lot of people have gone off on Granny J. I thought she was literally just a little old granny that thought she was helping somebody. And I messaged her kindly. And then no sooner do I do that, I see videos from Fallon that she is an enabler of scammers. And she's like, I understand because I have illnesses too. Girl, you're not doing this because you're unaware. Because you support scammer after scammer after scammer. Are you lonely? And so you like getting attention from people and you don't care, and it's easier to get noticed in a scammer's box than in anybody else's? Make it make sense. Of course she does, beggar enablers. Of course she does. But Tim is important. But this is what was interesting to me. Sorry, y'all. Even though I know in my head what I want to say, I need to read the notes. Okay. So he came on at about 9 p.m. Monday night from inside his tent. And guess what he showed us? He showed us a candle because he said, "Oh, I'm just in here with a candle." Now, could the candle have been one of those ones where you can just turn it on? Yes. But usually those are plug-ins. Sometimes you could get one with a battery. But it made me think back to when he said that his tent burned down. And he blamed it on children. Sir, was it children? Or was it that you used the candle and you knocked it over in your sleep and you burned your own? Right, reporting live from inside his tent. Is that what you did, sir? You knocked the candle over and then instead of having to take accountability for it, you blamed it on the coffee drinking teenagers who walked through the woods with hot coffee? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And now, of course, he's cold. And he needs to buy blankets, fleece blankets for $5. Let me tell. And then when someone was like, "Well, you could go to Goodwill or this place and that place to get blankets," he was like, "I've gotten all the blankets from them that I can." But according to you, you only have a couple of blankets. So how did you reach the maximum? And how did you reach the maximum with all of them? Daisy May, me neither. But he convinces himself of it, and then he comes and talks about it. Somebody will say, it's amazing that your leg grew back. And he'll be like, I'm not talking about the past. What? The past informs who you are right now, sir. Then it was, I need my seizure meds because I can't start work. And even if somebody gave him the money for the seizure meds, there would be another reason. And another reason, and another reason, and another reason. $5 make you out. So I have a bunch of people who have requested the box. Because they can't pin a comment, if you want the box, I need you to put it in the chat until I see it. Because I realize that a lot of people are tapping, and they end up asking for the box. Right, Sparkles Bright. But he can't qualify for any benefits. With stage 4 cancer, what? You don't have SSI yet? There was a young lady on here yesterday, and I thought she might be a bolo, but she wasn't. She was a cancer survivor from stage 4, but she was getting treatment. And so she was unable to work, and she is still healing. So she continues to be unable to work, but she got disability. I've never met anybody with 2 different stage 4 cancers that is still walking around. 2 separate cancers at stage 4. I don't understand how Nikki, who I am sure has seen the videos, is still supporting him. But I agree with y'all. I don't think Miss May walked away. I think the Miss May account walked away. And because he blew up her spot as a Kuna Matata, she just created another account and said, don't tell them that it's me. That whole performance that she did the other day where she said, I'm going to watch him after they went through everything with her. To me, it was a waste of breath. It was a waste of time. But this is the thing. And again, when you listen carefully, they tell on themselves. So you need the seizure meds in order to start work. But when you had $40, you bought different meds. I thought the thing that you needed the most was seizure meds. Because you're now saying you keep having seizures, but never having one while you're online. But you spent the $40 on different meds when you claim you need the seizure meds in order to go to work? Right. Because he looks so bad, because he's so sick. Timothy, I really hope your time is coming to an end, because I'm sick of covering you. You are becoming the new Lisa of the platform, where it's going to be the same thing. People are going to still support. I'm ready to stop talking about you. But when I saw that candle, I was like, okay, now it makes sense what happened. Yeah, Grammy. Or some other medicine. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's turning off the comments though, because he doesn't want people to tell people, please go watch that video. Well, remember, he said that he got a hotel room and then he accused the man of assault or harassment and he called the cops. Ain't heard nothing about that case though, have we? We don't hear about that no more. Good morning to anybody just coming in. Let's talk about Becky. Becky, I believe you're living in your karma now, honey. You're living in your karma. Because you tried to pretend like everything in your household was perfect, that nothing needed to change, that anybody who had anything to say about you and your family was wrong. Now, if y'all remember, I said that I found another case and I was like, wow, but I wanted to read it further. So let me tell you, her husband, along with co-workers, but him and one other person initially filed a lawsuit against Walmart. The lawsuit was that even when they were on their break, they were expected to answer questions about a service even though they were supposed to be on their break, so that they never truly got a break. They certainly couldn't leave the area because they had to be responsible for answering questions while they were there. Do I think Walmart should have done that? No. And clearly, there were lawyers who thought it was valid. And it seems like at some point, other people signed on to the lawsuit. This is the thing: Walmart has long money and a lot of time. Long money and a lot of time. It's been several years, and that case still hasn't settled. And Walmart is just going to wait you out. I can't tell you that how many lawyers have won it off the case over and over and over again. It's still not settled. Why? Because Walmart has long money. And they certainly don't want a class action. Really, football head? She also claims that the son has not gone to school since she has a dog, and she changed her name thinking that people wouldn't follow her, because that wasn't her name originally. So, Imprinted Angel, what he does is he gets inebriated. He'll drink an entire 6-pack in one sitting. And then he becomes belligerent and mean and nasty and threatening. And one time he actually left and drove and got a DUI because he was way over the limit. Well, this time he lunged at her and she flinched. And the people who like her called. And she tried to blame TikTok. She tried to say it's TikTok's fault. But when I pulled up, and I'll do it again for in case anybody wasn't here. If you look at the top where it says that it's domestic abuse, simple assault, attempt to put another in fear of bodily harm, fourth offense. And then he got the additional because it's a subsequent offense. It's happened more than once. So she can try to pretend that this was TikTok's fault, but he's been arrested for that before. And again, TikTok didn't buy the beer, nor did we throw it down, nor did we pour it down his throat. So what do you mean it was TikTok's fault? You've been here before, ma'am. My problem with her now, though, is that she's saying that her husband has said as long as he's not living there, he's not going to pay the bills. But she's not going to divorce him. I'm not suggesting that you do. But I have told her on multiple accounts, call SSI, let them know he is no longer living in the home. He can have no contact. And he's taking his little Social Security check with him. And at least ask if they will adjust yours. And her response to that is, he's my payee. I can't, you guys can't call SSI because you are not me and you're not my payee. Who wants to call SSI? They claim that Carl has applied for jobs and can't get them, as if there aren't any jobs, and All for One disproved that months ago. There are jobs all over the place. But she and her husband want him on disability. Right, Suze. One job and didn't get it, so go apply for disability. For what? And when I was talking to her still, he said he doesn't want disability, he wants a job. What mother and father wants their child to be on disability other than you want to continue the cycle of getting something you don't deserve? Because let's be clear, she gets SSI because she didn't work enough. She didn't work enough to earn enough credits to get SSDI. And now you want your 20-something-year-old son to be stuck at the SSI level? At least let him go work for a few years and earn enough to get Social Security disability. Like, what are you doing? It's a comfortable cycle. Well, we'll know you'll get $900 a month, and if you continue to live here on $900 a month, that'll help us out. But what about when he wants to branch out, get a girlfriend, have a family? How he gonna do that on $900? He certainly can't bring any women and kids into that trailer. But for me, your family's racism. You try to pretend like you don't have it, but when they say something racist, you always giggle. I don't feel bad for you at all. I give no cares. Please continue to live in your karma. Because while you were telling everybody else that everything in your life was perfect, we now know that that wasn't the case. Yes, Luna Louise, they do. Now you want help paying the bills because of your husband. But I thought he loved you and nobody else. I thought he cared about you and the children, and that's what he makes decisions based on. And now we find out, well, if he ain't going to live there, he's not going to pay the bills. But that's still your family, sir. And I realize that the situation, especially people who have been in a DV situation, have empathy for her. I don't. Because for me, her racism trumps that. Right, Kelly? And she doesn't care about that either. Let's create enough of a problem so he can get Social Security too. She wants to continue the cycle of living on the breadline. And there are people who are like that. Like, literally, I know families where 3 generations were living in the projects. 3 generations. And not in the same apartment. They all had their own. According to her, he hasn't been to school. That's smart. And any suggestion made about him getting to school, she knocks down. And this is what I realized. She knocks them down not because it's not a potential. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it. It's not that she can't. It's not that she's done it already and knows the answer. She's too lazy to do it. See, I think that in her household, the men take care of everything. And she gets to sit there in ignorant bliss. And now that the responsibility of the family has been placed on her shoulders, she doesn't want it. She wants to give it back. My dear, what if you face the unfortunate prospect that he is no longer living? Are you going to stay here in this stuck place? You have a child, a minor that you're responsible for, and you're already throwing your hands up? So keep doing what you're doing because you are not creating an environment conducive for that child. And so mess around and not let him be in school. And then let a caseworker or a truancy officer or somebody get into your life. And then they send in CPS. If you think you have problems now, keep playing. Right, that's what most mothers do. When my husband passed away, I literally went to work all week and crumbled all weekend, but I had to take care of my child. I know Stephanie. But remember, she lied and said that her mother doesn't drive out of town. And somehow they drove to the sister's house. Hold on. Okay. I don't know why my son texts me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I mean, don't get me wrong. He texted me on Tuesday and Thursday too. But, sir, how many times do I have to tell you? And I used to let him interrupt. Now I don't. You could wait. Because it's not about anything serious. Let me put it that way. Who's next? Wait, one. Okay. Megan. If you notice, Megan isn't conveying any message that she's looking for a job. The whole I'm getting a job, I'm getting a job, I'm getting a job was to establish a relationship with people who would support her, thinking that, okay, if I support her this week, next week she'll have a paycheck. She doesn't even bother to pretend anymore. She has no intention. Right, princess. And she tried to say that she had to leave the family's house because they were drinking. Well, I've had her family here in the live, and they said actually it's the reverse. And the reason why that makes sense to me is because she can't keep a job. She can't stay anywhere for long. Like, there's always a problem. And when no matter where you go, there's a problem, the common denominator is you. Oh, thank you, Pumpkin. You are the common denominator. You are the reason. It's not the people around you, it's you. Oh, well, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you saying so. So, if y'all remember, she had a live where she took her sister's 4 children and literally kept them from morning until night, but had to come on and beg to get money for them to have dinner. I don't know if she got it or not. And then I believe that was Sunday. And then I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. It was Monday. She asked for $26 for the room. And then she proceeded to tell us that Claudia went to the mental health part of the hospital. And what happened was she cut herself. And when she was bleeding, Medina called 911. Medina doesn't mention going to the hospital with her. But miraculously, at the same time, she was able to find somebody to take Chanel because she didn't have anywhere to go. But that as soon as she got a hotel room, she would get Chanel back. Now, if you need money for food, you need money for a place to stay, why would you want Chanel back? Let Chanel stay with the person until you become stable. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Chanel Claudia's dog? But okay. So then she told everybody she just needs the hotel for tonight because her sister doesn't get off work until midnight. And by then, her phone would be dead and she would have been outside all that time. My next logical question is, well, text your sister now and tell her when she gets off work, she needs to come and get you. But of course, we're not operating on a logical plane, right? So then people are like, well, how much is the Uber to your sister's house? And she was like $27. So people were like, well, why don't you take the 27 you already have because the room is 5805. Use the half that you have to get to your sister's house. Well, that blew up because then she had to say to us, oh, the money's on Claudia's card and I don't have it. I don't have access to it. I can't get it. And she actually told people that instead of sending me gifts, send me $1 or two for the room. Then, of course, she started crying. No, I'm sorry. Before she started crying, she literally said, I'm going to have to cry to my family to get assistance. So she's already planning to cry when she calls her family. And then she cried a little bit for us. The acting, thank you. The acting was horrible, by the way. Thank you for the air dancing. So her plan after this particular night was to start sleeping in her sister's car at night. But the sister doesn't get off work until midnight. So what are you going to do before she gets there at midnight? So she didn't get any money that I could see. A lot of people believe that, Bo. I my passion around mental health makes me not want to question it because if she did do what she said she did, that's very serious and I don't want to make any light of it. But it's just convenient timing, is all I'm saying. It's just convenient timing. Because the next thing you know, she came back and she was in the room. She even said that Claudia took all of her things. How could Claudia take all of her things to the psych ward? They would have told her, nah, don't take any of that. Because in the psych ward, you can't have your phone. You can't have your pocketbook. You can't even have laces in your shoes. So why would she take all of her stuff? Thank you, Sandy. Somebody suggested that she panhandle, and she was like, why would you ask me to do that? I don't do that. You're panhandling on TikTok right now. What do you mean? It cracks me up when they're like, no, that is below me, while they're doing it on social media. So she comes back, and within 2 hours, she's in the room, and she's like, hey guys, I want y'all to know I got the room. and that she talked to Claudia, and Claudia said when she gets out, she's going back to her mom's house. Okay, Medina. So, to my surprise, I'm being facetious. She came live several times yesterday asking for food. And when I asked, "Are you at your sister's?" No, because Claudia's mother paid for another night in the room, which means Claudia's mother paid for the first night. That's how she was able to get into the room so fast. My question is this: if my child is the one in the hospital, why am I paying for her girlfriend who has family nearby to stay in a hotel by herself? Who do you think paid for it, Bo? Bo? Because what I feel like is that Claudia's mother gives Claudia her half of the money. True love, they are in hard times, but they don't want to live like they're in hard times. You understand? They want to live like people who go to work every day. Cindy, a lot of people believe that Claudia was there because why do you have the dog? What are you going to do with the dog when you're sleeping in your sister's car? And again, I'm being facetious. Thank you, Mama Bear. I'm being facetious because we all know that that's never going to be the plan. She does try to keep Claudia hidden. And I'm going to be honest, while I don't want her to feel like her life is that lost at 25 that she would need to do it, I was secretly hoping that she had done it so she could get away from Medina. I was hoping. But then Medina last night said, she's better, but she's crying more because she wants to be with me. Oh, thank you, Granny Annie. I never wanted to be an astronaut because I was afraid of heights. I don't even like to fly. What do you mean she's crying because she wants to be with you? See, I think she's setting it up to reintroduce Claudia and say, even though Claudia said she wanted to be with her mother, she really wanted to be with me. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And her favorite is tap the screen, y'all. Share the live. Tap the screen because she wants new people to get in there and give her money. Stop it. And I asked her, is Claudia coming to get Chanel? Because she said she's getting out on Thursday. She ignored me, of course. So we'll be watching like we always are. We'll be watching. And I'll be reporting back to you. Apparently, we have to look for it tomorrow morning. Or I should say tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Let's see if she gets out and if she goes to her mother's. Because again, I don't see how a mother is paying for a 35-year-old grown ass able bodied woman to stay in a hotel. I can see her paying her daughter's half. But all of it for you? Is Claudia's mother independently wealthy? Because I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Who's next? I actually think this is the final person, right? It is. I don't know where to begin with this one. Because Faye's ignorance, her stupidity, and her racism will keep her where she is. And I hope that it does. So she came on railing about how her mom lost her job to Mexicans and she lost her jobs to Mexicans. And that if their homeland was so great, why don't they go back there? And someone came in and said, God, she always says, God bless. And somebody said, God bless everyone. And her response to that was, I'm America first. So does Jesus care more about Americans than Christians around the world? Because we're talking about Jesus. We're not talking about the President of the United States. Do you think Jesus loves you more than he does the Christian in South America? The Christian in Canada? The Christian in England? Africa? Australia? Do you think God shines his light more on you because you're struggling? And instead of taking stock of what you need to do to not struggle, it is easier to blame somebody else. Well, they're leaving, ma'am. You're getting your wish. They are being picked up and taken out. So why don't you take one of those jobs? Take one of those jobs. Grandma J, dig here. I wrote you. And I appreciate that you're here. But to know that you go from scammer to scammer to scammer and enable them offends me. Because you know what I know. You're not dense in any way. You know that Timothy is on drugs, on rugs, I'm sorry. You know that. So why are you in there supporting his nonsense? Hey, Fallon. Why are you sitting there talking about you know what it's like to be sickly? He is not the same sickly that you are. Florida, okay, well, this is your other account, Florida. Why does it matter to you? Am I taking anything out of your pocket? Am I asking you for anything? But prove it. Great, Florida. Thank you for your service. Don't go back and forth. Don't go back and forth. It's getting him what he wants. He came back on a new account because he got muted before. If we muted him before, mute him again. I'm a government leech. Okay. Well, if that's what you think, because why? Why? Why is that what you think? But let's stay focused. Thank you guys. Let's stay focused. Grandma J, I am glad that you are here. If you're still here, I don't know. But to sit in lives with people who are obviously taking advantage of people who don't know the truth, like, what is the point? What do you get? Does she? What do you get out of helping somebody? I don't see the request. I don't see the request. There we go. Y'all know Fallon can come in the box anytime.
I didn't want to interrupt. You were doing very well. I didn't want to interrupt at all. She ran, Dee Dee. You were clocking that tea and she ran.
Of course she did. Of course she did. I think she just wanted to come along, and I think she thought she is still in here. Grandma J, would you like a box to explain to us why you think it's okay to enable? Because I know what you're probably going to say. I don't send any money, but you are in there, you are conversating, you are making Tim Nash look like he's being honest, that he's being real, that he's telling the truth when we all know he's lying. And let me just tell y'all, I sent her the video of him outside pretending to be a vet, pretending to have lost his leg, using the maxi pad. I sent it to her so she can't pretend like she doesn't know. Because I was treating her like somebody who obviously doesn't know what's going on, just to find out that this is what she does. She supports scammers on TikTok. Are you lonely? And so that's why you go from scammer to scammer to scammer to get attention? Because it boggles my mind that you find it acceptable for people to take advantage of other people. What do you think Jesus would feel about that? And I had somebody throw that in my face, like, if I believe in Jesus, why am I not kind and giving? I am to those deserving. But for people who are just on here to take advantage of other people, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Echo, stop. We're not doing that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We're not doing that. And you are just as bad as the scammer because you give them legitimacy. Who said that? Exactly, Miss Coffee. So it's okay for them to take advantage of other people's kindness. What do you think Jesus would say to them? Since you know that Jesus loves us all. Because while they try to use quotes and say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, how many scriptures talk about how you're supposed to get up on your own too and take care of yourself and your family? What nerve does he have of having a girlfriend and he can't even feed himself? Sir, you need to get yourself together. But you're supporting Medina? Tristan? Really? Go ahead, Fallon.
So, Julie, why is it that you have so much to say elsewhere in Medina, Pookie, Tristan, Tim Nash, all these people? You got so much to say, but you ain't got a peep to say today. Why not, Julie? Nothing. Crickets? You are enabling people who are struggling with substance abuse in the worst kind of way, that they will lie about having something as horrible as cancer. And what if you helped him get $2, $3, $4 with your mess of, I wish I could send you something. I wish, but I can send this, or I can pay for it directly, or I can do whatever as soon as my husband wakes up because he's got the card. But then you were right back over into having a Senior Moments live, kicking it over there, chopping it up with them, and then going and being with the rest of the beggars and scammers, having a lot to say.
Oh, so you like to code switch. You like
Yes.
to be in here with us and then go over there and do your thing.
Yes.
Make it make sense. Yeah, you sound like somebody that needs attention.
But just know this, Grandma J, Julie, when unfortunately somebody passes away, I'm going to be the first one that calls and gives people real names, because all lives are valuable no matter what they're doing on the internet. But you're helping him with, he's already got one foot in the grave, just like many of the others that you're enabling, and you're wrong for that. You don't have any space to be over here with the rest of these people in this chat, with Dee Dee, none of them. You're not loyal enough. So you stay over there, and I hope that you look into the faces of your grandkids, the many grandkids that you have, and that you pray that they don't turn out to be people like you, who are wishing bad things on people because you think you're thumb thugging playing on the internet. I hope we don't lose anybody else to addiction, but you're in here feeling it.
Some thugging. I love it.
I love you guys. I'll be down in the comments.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're always welcome, my dear. So somebody make it make sense. So let's get back to Fei Fei. Right, there are eyes everywhere. The hills have eyes, and so does TikTok. Thank you, thank you. Y'all know I love when Fallon comes. You know. So, but my question is this: you do realize that parts of the United States used to be part of Mexico? Los Angeles is actually the Angels. Okay, Lydia. Okay. Thank you for pinning that. I'll let me write it down. I swear, sometimes make sure you're sending it to the right account, because people are like, I sent you a message, and then I go look and I can't find it. Los Angeles is the Angels in Spanish. There's a reason. But you claim America like your ancestors started here. Ma'am, you are here because your ancestors traversed the ocean to get here. Why do you feel like you're better than anybody else? You rail about your Christian values and then throw them away when they don't serve your purpose. If you are upset about them taking your job, well, they're leaving, either voluntarily or being forced out. Go get a job. Go do some landscaping, work in a restaurant, go pick the fields that are empty now. Go get a job building homes. Because we have some homes that aren't getting built here in Florida because there's nobody here to fill them. See, Faye was living off of her mother's Social Security check. And I remember I was telling you about a live that she was in where she was yelling at two Mexicans and they were like, "You're mad at us because your resume sucks?" And what they meant wasn't that her actual resume, but that her work experience sucked. Do you know that her and her mother used to live in a hotel before they got in the senior housing facility? But you're complaining about the people who, whether they were here legally or not, got up every day and went to work. Why do you think they're showing up at work locations? Because they're working. Yes, she is a senior, Jody. And she says, "Oh, I sell this, I sell that." She has to pay a portion of her rent based on the things that she said. Who's paying it? Who's putting money in your pocket so you could get groceries? I, I don't get food stamps. I don't know what that person was talking about, but yeah, I don't know what they were talking about. This house would love to have food stamps. It does not. It pays cash. I don't have a well. I know some. Didn't they say they was gonna go back to the booklet? I don't have a platinum card. I wish I did. I wish I did, because food is ridiculous. I don't know what Florida is talking about, but okay. If America isn't doing right by you, why don't you go home? Go back to where your ancestors came from. Because you seem to have a problem with what's happening here, except you don't want to have to do anything about it. Make that make sense. And then when people go off on you, you want to act like, "I don't understand why people don't like me." Go get a job. Sapuki, I agree. At least start buying seeds. And make sure you're getting the right seeds. because some seeds can only bloom once. There have to be jobs all over California right now. You're upset because you don't have the will to get yourself out of this situation. And like I've been telling you, there are some people, not all, there are some people who feel so bad about themselves, the only way they can prop themselves up is to complain about somebody else. Then she started to talk about her dad and his lack of love for her and how he spoiled her older sister, but because she was born a preemie, he didn't love her because she had problems. The Mexicans aren't at fault because your daddy was a piece of shit as you were growing up. That's nobody else's fault. It's nobody on TikTok's fault. Quite frankly, it wasn't even your sister's fault. Your mother allowed it to happen. Stop making your life choices somebody else's fault because you are now old enough to change it. That's right, USPS is hiring. She got upset because she was playing games and she couldn't get a payout. Are you that clueless? You too, Granny Annie. She claims she initially claimed that there wasn't any work from home jobs, and then she claims that she can't get hired. How long did she rely on that arm? She kept adding weeks to it. It's healed by now. Didn't she say as soon as she doesn't have that thing on her arm, she's going to get a job? But instead of spending the time, you want to be upset at somebody else who has nothing to do with you. Faye, get your life together and stop making it everybody else's problem. Right, Sarah. There are. But there are a lot of companies that have jobs. There's actually somebody who's usually in here. But if you look up remote work on TikTok, you'll come across people who, not a company, there are people who share work from home jobs. It is their content. Which Kiki? The pregnant? Well, they're both pregnant, right? The one with the sets of twins or Kanisha? Right filter, but a lot of those are scams. Indeed is full of scammers. Unfortunately. If you get a message from a plus number, it's a scam. Sorry. Especially when they say they're in the United States. Within the United States does not require a plus. Okay, there you go. Mama Bear has a list of legit companies. She works from home. There you go. Go follow Mama Bear. She has a legit list. And see, if you could talk to Faye, you could tell her that information. But because she doesn't actually want to do it, she treats it as if it's not real. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of numbers. You got to do the country code, then whatever their area code is, and then the number. It's a lot. I'm sorry. I'm looking up something. So as long as people are going to choose to be racist and beggars on TikTok, you will always have a spot on my grid. Get a hold of your own life and stop blaming everybody else. Go back to the job that you lost. But we all know the real reason is that your ambition is gone. It doesn't exist. But you're welcome to the grid anytime. Anytime. Now, let's do the things that we said we're going to do. First things first is the affirmations and motivations. This is the one today. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm, by Winston Churchill. If you hear about somebody like Apple and you think they're great, we only hear about their success. Do you know how many computers went wrong before they got the one right that they were able to sell? Failure is a part of growth. You're going to fail, but every failure is a lesson and it informs your next step. So if you're working on something expecting no failure, you're setting yourself up. You need to treat failure like a learning lesson rather than the end of your dream. That's one. Now, I also promised this, that we would do 1 minute self-care because that's important. And sometimes people don't know where to start. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. One is laugh. Oftentimes, when I'm upset about something, I will watch a show that I know will make me laugh because I can't cry and laugh at the same time. Light a candle. Do a Timothy Nash. Just be safe about it. There is something mesmerizing when you are in the dark and the only light is a candle. It changes the entire aura of the room. Take a walk. And I purposely use these older gentlemen because it doesn't matter what your age is. They're out there walking with sticks, but they're out there walking. They're touching grass, as they say. And finally, stretch. You do not need to pay money to stretch. Just download a little thing like this and take 1 minute and stretch your body. But do something for self-care every day, even if you only have a minute. That's right, Cindy Lou. Walking is one of the best things you can do for yourself and your heart. Fantastic, Tanya. So I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you all for getting up with me this early in the morning. I appreciate the people who come in here to create chaos. I appreciate you too. Thank you for boosting the algorithm and giving something for people to do. I will either see you in the streets or I will see you Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. Remember to continue to share enablers with the mods. Share the mods and enablers with my mods so that we can have the enabler live. I appreciate you. You guys are my motivation for getting up. And today we're going to leave Echo. Play Wild Thoughts by DJ Khaled.
Here's Wild Thoughts by DJ Khaled, featuring Rihanna, Bryson Tiller on